is what we call the floor of our MRF, Material Recovery Facility. And this is where our trucks will dump recycling loads. And as you can see, it's a pretty giant pile right now.
One of the things we have to do is remove all the contamination. So about 10% of what's in here is not recyclable, that soft plastic, styrofoam. And then the other thing we need to do is separate out all the recyclables into the different materials, the cardboard from the paper and the different types of plastic and metal and glass.
I don't use the word garbage because it just is meaningless. We throw out materials every day. Now, some we can recover, some we can't. But I think if you just think of waste as a verb and not just a noun, you start to get closer to the solution. Our technical term is landfill diversion. So how much do you keep away from landfill disposal? And currently we're at 68% as a city.
That triangle, or what we call our chasing arrows, you'll find on all types of plastic, soft and hard. And that's just telling you what type of plastic resin it's made out of. Does not mean it's recyclable. This is what we call soft plastic. It's squishy, and we never want it in your recyclables or your recycling, including not even bagging your material. So this is one of our first steps in sorting out contamination. And on this line, we typically have 4 people who are hand sorting this material, pulling off items that don't belong. So we'll be able to see the actual recyclable material down the line. Even bagged recyclables, your bag of recyclables will not make it to recycling because it's a safety hazard to our employees.
The next on the line is our cardboard screen. We actually added this in a few years ago because of the proliferation of cardboard boxes from online shipping. We call it the Amazon effect. These large rollers and cardboard rolls along the top. Everything else that's smaller, bottles, cans, and paper, falls down onto the other conveyor belt. Now the cardboard comes out this line with a few people to pull out stuff that doesn't belong. Then the cardboard separated can go off to be baled. The rest of the recyclables continue on their journey.
The city has had curbside programs since 1991, but there was pretty limited on the range of recyclables that we could get, and it was very manual. So you would have bins, and you put your newspaper in one bin, and you put your glass in another, and you put your bottles and cans in a third, and that was asking a lot of our citizens. Since 2005, we've had what's called single stream recycling. So that's where you can mix bottles and cans and paper into one stream, then we sort it out for you.
After the cardboard sorter, this is our next sorting station, where we have, again, people hand sorting materials that either don't belong or that we're trying to capture for recycling. So some people are sorting off those pesky soft plastics that we talked about, like your plastic bags or your film plastic, but they're also pulling off recyclable material that we do want.
So here we're going to finally start to separate the bottles and cans from the paper. Now these screens are set up so that the glass will break and fall through onto a conveyor belt below. The paper is 2-dimensional and lighter, and so what happens is it continues up, it climbs up to the top, and it goes off the end and it goes onto our paper line. And the bottles and cans, the 3-dimensional heavier things, actually fall down to the bottom and go onto another conveyor belt. And this is really how we separate the bottles and cans to go over to their area and the paper to go here to get cleaned up and recycled.
This is our new machine called an optical sorter. It uses light to separate plastic, the soft plastic we've been talking about, and paper from each other.
So as the paper comes along, it identifies whether it's cardboard, paper, or film plastic. And it actually shoots air to blow the paper one way, it'll shoot air to blow the cardboard the other way. And after the optical sorter cleans the paper comes down the conveyor belt to the baler. And the baler smashes the paper up into a cube, just like a hay bale on a farm, wraps it in wire, and that 1,200 to 1,500 pound bale of paper comes out the end and then is stacked out and ready to ship to make something new out of it.
So the city of Napa owns the recycling and composting facility and a private contractor operating it. And that contractor is Napa Recycling and Waste Services. They are a local company. They really do care. They live here. There is a vested interest in the local community and the success of our local programs.
So on these screens where the paper, the 2-dimensional paper goes up and the bottles and cans roll down, it's also shaking it, and so glass breaks. right? And the glass breaks and falls through these screens onto these other conveyor belts. And then it goes into our glass cleaner, which is a machine that basically is blowing the paper away from it or any other things that are not glass so that the glass is cleaner and can go to recycling. This is called the container line. And we have sorters here that are pulling out the different types of bottles, boxes, cartons, different recyclable items and dropping them into those chutes.
And then it'll come right down into this container. So they're separating them by types of material, and they're designated on what type of material they're separating. The next stop is our magnet. This magnetic sorter is extra strength, and it'll literally suck up any sort of tin and scrap metal.
So after the magnet comes an eddy current, which is a reverse magnet. So this is a magnet that actually pushes away aluminum because aluminum is not magnetic. And then the aluminum is sorted a little bit more, so we can sort the cans from the foil and from other little metal items. Here at the end of our sorting line, we've added robots. They use artificial intelligence to capture things that haven't been caught yet. And so it comes in on the conveyor belt and there's a computer, and the computer actually takes a picture of everything it sees. It then uses this little suction cup to pick it really quickly and drop it into a chute. So you can see the robot like taking pictures, and then it's and dropping it down the chute. And after that, there's one more person who can really catch anything that really fell through the cracks and wasn't sorted yet, different cans, and then it goes off the end of the line.